When I was 17, I was always feeling like my life lacked meaning. I was stuck living every day, the same day over and over. Every day, same routine, same pointless pleasure.
I have no idea what I'm gonna do today or tomorrow for the rest of my life.
Yet after a certain amount of self-improvement, I felt alive again. But that wasn't enough. I felt like I was missing a piece.
Who are you?
I already explained the routine I used. Now it's time for step 2. You ready?
Most of the time you're doing things without analyzing why you're doing them. And it is why that is the magic.
What would you pay to do, and how can you get paid to do it?
It's not okay. If you're a young man and you don't know what to do with your life, you should feel like shit.
And you wonder why you're a fucking slave.
Okay, we need to find our purpose before it's too late. But let's be real, you already know the basics. And even if you don't, they're just common sense. Do you really need to be told to work on your health, work on your finances, and get more connections in 5 different videos? I guess not. In fact, purpose goes outside of all the stuff that we already know. So here's a full breakdown on how to find your life's mission. We'll go from the rules I used to find mine, how to align your life to it, how to make progress in your purpose, what you should sacrifice, and the first rule is pretty simple, but it's the shortcut to your current deepest desire. And that is done by simply getting rid of distractions and stimulation. In fact, when you have to sit in some kind of boring environment, your brain can finally start to realize what's important in your life. And here's some very practical advice I can give you. Turn your phone off for 3 days, then just sit in a room and walk in nature and be completely disconnected from modern technology. You can't even check your phone once. Allow your brain to really think about what is actually truly important in your life. At some point, some big thoughts about what you value, about your desires will start to pop into your mind. And you know why most people can't have these kinds of big thoughts? You know why most people don't know what to do with their lives? Because they spend 8 hours a day on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, so of course they don't know what to do. And that's sad, honestly. I mean, that's easier said than done. But if you are watching this video, I am assuming that you don't know what your purpose is and you don't have a mission. So you need to take a step back from these apps. Trust me, it's a game changer. Alright, we talked about the first basic rule and what to do for the first 3 days. It's nice, but you can't be in solitude for the rest of your life, right? Well, you don't have to. After this initial period, you should start looking for other men on your path, and you can't even imagine how much that will help you grow. That's why every successful strong man has a journal and intense periods of contemplation and solitude. Because it works. Do you think Winston Churchill was constantly reading newspaper after newspaper and getting an overload of information? Or was he sitting back on a rocking chair, literally thinking deeply and meditating about something, connecting the dots between a few different things every day? You probably know the answer.
Okay, but what should I journal about?
Glad you asked. You can find a PDF with some questions to meditate on in the description down below. I mean, it's something I use at the moment, and it will definitely change with time, but for now, this is all I do. And it works for me, so it may work for you as well. All right, let's speed things up. Let me introduce you a concept. Ikigai is a Japanese concept that refers to finding one's purpose or reason for being. The idea is you should draw 4 circles. One that refers to your passion, basically what you love to do. 1 to your mission, something the world needs from you. 1 to your vocation, something you're very talented for or you're very good at. And finally, your profession, something you can get paid for. And if you basically put those circles together, what you find in the cross-section in the middle of this diagram is your purpose, your current main direction for life. Well, if you dive deeper into this concept of Ikigai, you'll find out there are more techniques using different combinations to find your purpose. But here's the plot. I didn't use them. There's a much easier way to find your purpose. So here's what I do. Take a big problem that you want to solve in the world. For example, the weakness of this generation of men. Then take a big problem you want to solve in your life, one that is holding you back. For example, you may have low self-esteem. If you want, you can take it a bit further by adding another problem or question you have. But I like to keep it simple. Now go and solve those problems. Develop yourself as a man. Build a real project and do not suppress the new problems that come up. And remember that you will need to change at some point. You may lose your old Discord friends and other people from your life as your development demands. A friend of mine once told me,
I hope you guys get what the fuck I'm saying. I'm telling you what, man, once you get it, come on over this side of the fence, you don't see fucking problems anymore, man. You see situations. You see possibilities. And you can't wait to get them started, man.
We'll come back to Ikigai later, but first we need to talk about reading. Well, it's one of the most popular advice you can hear in the self-improvement space. Just read the popular self-help or finance books. But I completely disagree with that, and I have evidence to support my opinion. For example, take the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Everybody seems to recommend it. Well, in that case, you're a smart guy. Just read what everyone else is reading, right? The problem is, you're not the only one. That is the worst thing to do. How are you supposed to beat your competitors if you have the same knowledge as them? I mean, don't just read nonfiction, read stories. The characters you encounter in these books will stay with you for much longer than any boring, repetitive advice you get from reading Atomic Habits. Reading a peasant kid go from frail, weak-minded to a strong and confident commander that marries the princes and leads tens of thousands of men into battle fills the soul with strong spirit and makes you want to do the same. Now, I'm not saying you should pick up a novel hoping to learn everything about yourself and your mission. That's totally not the point, but what I'm trying to say is read whatever you enjoy, and everything you learn is a bonus. There is no regular way when it comes to aligning your life to your purpose, so we must go all in on the extreme way. And I know it's the most common advice you hear from other self-improvement gurus. Just have a balanced life, or it's okay to play video games every now and then. But that's simply not true. This is where most guys find it very difficult to make progress, and why most men are stuck in this stage of not fulfilling their purpose. It's because making a sacrifice is incredibly hard, especially in the modern day, since food and technology have been made to be addictive, so we feel genuine spiritual, physical, and mental pain when we try to sacrifice something that we have an addiction to. What I found is that the thing that you need to sacrifice is actually the thing that your own brain will defend the most. If right now your brain is telling you, I smoke weed only because it makes me creative, or it's okay if I use TikTok to relax, you have just discovered the thing you need to sacrifice. In fact, in order to make a lot of progress in your purpose, you need to be okay with making sacrifices. Especially when you are just starting out, you must be ruthless. Congratulations, now you know how to find your purpose, right? So look, you learned the theory, which is really important, but it doesn't mean anything if you don't know how to use it. But if you stick to the end, you'll learn the most important thing no one talks about when it comes to purpose. Ah, man, I would just need some help from that old guy.
It's always been inside of you trying to come out, but you've never wanted to unwrap it because there's too much fucking pain and commitment. You knew it was there, but you never wanted to embark on it until something fucking hits. You get fired or somebody else gets success, remind you of what you could have been. And then the fucking spark is born. Who are you?
I've been asking the same question. Might be a stoic, a student, a teacher, a father. Turns out, I'm all of them. Do you remember when at the start of this video, I showed you the Ikigai diagram, the one with purpose in the middle? But that's not the true Ikigai diagram. In fact, in the old Japanese philosophy, the whole diagram is your purpose, your Ikigai, and that's the beauty of it. However, I wanted to explain to you how I felt after finding my purpose, until I realized I couldn't. Let me tell you, if someone tried to explain it to me, I wouldn't have understood it back then. You have to feel it yourself, and once you do, you have this massive amount of energy and ambition driving you towards your goals and purpose. It is impossible to explain the feeling, but it just feels right that you are destined to fulfill it. And man, I know sometimes it can be scary to face your purpose. You want to get it right, you want to be 100% sure about it, and you're afraid of getting it wrong. But I'm here to tell you, it's okay to roll the dice, it's okay to take the gamble. You don't need to feel the pressure to make the perfect decision, because a focused, disciplined pursuit of any goal is never going to be a waste. This is one thing I've learned over the past year, that hard work always pays off. And there is also another big misconception around purpose that I hear from every other YouTuber. But I have to break it to you. Purpose is not something that you find, it's something that finds you.
And you get up and you go, even if it gets knocked down, you just keep going, you're a wild man. And life has never been so sweet.